Welcome, one and all, to the favorite type of show we do here. Favorite of mine, which is the call-in show. Hey, there's Hotline League happening like right now, or you can come over here where it's cooler. All right.
Exactly. Cool.
Zooming in on myself to make myself look more comparable to Jordan's head size. Jordan, what's up?
Nothing. What's up with you?
I thought you were about to say something, and I cut you off.
No.
I
was going to say, I'll suggest if people would like to come on the show and try to impress us with a take of theirs, they are welcome to go on Hotline League first, do a little warm up, bring it back here once you've had a chance to kind of fine tune, and then you can do the real deal.
That's
over
right.
Here with us.
Yeah, just use it as a little trial run.
Cole, this is my favorite kind of show because, and this is going to sound like slander, but it's not. It doesn't take any preparation on our
I don't know about you. I've been powerlifting fan takes all day getting ready for this.
That's true. I haven't. I have been just blissfully unaware. Well, every one of these takes, I'm going to be shocked and amazed by, either in a good way or bad way. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is Keep It 100. And we will be taking calls in our Discord. Here's a Discord link in chat for the live audience. You guys hop into there. Near the top of the channel list, there's a section called Keep It 100. Put in Choose Me, channel name Choose Me. Put down your take. Jordan's going to comb through those and pull some people for us to talk to. If you want to talk, hang out in the waiting room voice chat and mute yourself. And then we will pull you guys as we go. To field your takes. We're going to be grading your takes on a scale of 0 to 100, of course. And we'll see if anybody's able to nail that perfect 100 take, which has only happened once on the show before. Someone really quick to address the elefante in the room. Someone was talking about my camera quality. It's actually, this shirt is too close to my green screen. So that's why it's juking on the screen. And I'm semi-translucent. That's what's going on. Everything else should look as normal. Yes, this is like that prototype invisibility cloak drop from 100T. Oh man, I'm interested to hear what. And Jordan's wearing it too, but Jordan doesn't have a little green screen on him, so he just looks like a Wilson tennis ball.
Oh, thanks.
I'm excited to see what you guys have to say tonight because it's going to be hard to really nitpick, I think, and everybody wants to nitpick. So, get your takes ready. Before we start, we'll just remind you that we are powered by Reapered Energy. So speaking of semi-green screen action, here's my can. That is, the tribute can is a lot green, but not totally green like Lime Wrecker. I think we're deserving of an ASMR moment here.
That feels appropriate, Cole. Really, it's a crossover event for those who cannot catch Rec League for whatever reason. They haven't rearranged their lives to be able to watch Rec League yet.
That's right. All right.
Sneak peek of the festivities over there Thursday night.
I'll go first.
Well done.
Thank you. Serve yours up now, please.
Okay, you ready? Here we go.
Here we go.
See if I can pull this off here. I don't have to do it anymore since I don't have a boom.
ASMR.
Sorry.
The wind tunnel. I love it. All right.
That's good. Sorry, headphone users.
All right, let's go. Everybody, again, I'll put the Discord link in chat. Jordan, I think, will have someone for us to pull here. Quick shout out to Math Geek for the tier 2 sub 4 months in a row. What a guy. All right, we've done the Rip It ASMR moment. We're doing mic check with our first guest, and we will get him on as soon as Jordan deems him prepared. Zodiac V2 says those red hats, though. I know, man. I'm hoping I get one when my card arrives.
Is that real? The red hat deal?
The red hat is real. I'll hop into Father's Day.
Green card was not real, right?
The green card was not real.
The green hat is what I meant to say. Not the green
I was going to say, that's a controversial opinion on the night of someday related information. Jordan, do we have our first person ready to go?
You know this first caller. His name is Jarrett.
Jarrett, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey.
Jarrett, a.k.a. Who He White Knight Jarrett.
AKA...
actually,
I was going to say your other
I think-
rec league name, but I forgot it. Go ahead.
No, that's good. I think tonight, I can change that to a Ryoma White Knight.
Ooh,
Jarrett.
okay. You got my attention already. Lay your take on us.
And basically, I think if 100 Thieves end up letting go of Tommy Ryoma, this would be the biggest letdown, and I think it could lead to a massive amount of regret if we don't keep him in academy.
Regret from whom?
All of 100 Thieves.
All of
Okay.
100 Thieves.
Like,
Holy
Every
moly.
fan, every player. Wow. Jarrett, you're going to have to help us understand where you're coming from with this one. Please go a little bit deeper. Why? Where's this regret coming from?
So I think one of the big things with Ryoma Tommy is that a lot of times when he has been thrown CS, it has been at pretty unfortunate timings where it's been either spur of the moment, kind of like with this split in spring, where it was like, oh, we need you to do this, and we're already 4 weeks in, or however many it was. Or it's in a rough transition period where they're just like, okay, we're going to gamble on you and see if it works. Where it was kind of more of, we know that, I feel like he confidence of, I know you will work out, and we have the team around you to make it work out. Where I think if other teams give him that chance, say, I don't know, I think a team that could use a mid that could also be towards the top of the standings, and this is just my opinion, is I would say Evil Geniuses.
Wow.
Feel that Jizuke is very, very hit or miss. Where I think a big thing about Ryoma is that he's very consistent. And with a team around that Evil Geniuses have, I think he would have the resource to... And if he was given that time, if he was given a split or a year, like he was originally promised, I remember this. My memory is bad. We all know. I already got roasted by Papa Smithy in the chat for that. But I think he just needs confidence and having everyone around him confident, including the coaching staff and the employees and all that type of stuff, to be able to stick out a year, to be a prolonged period player.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, the take is the reason Ryoma hasn't done well enough to be considered maybe a mid-tier or even upper mid-tier LCS mid laner is that he hasn't been given a decent opportunity to do so, like a decent team scenario to do so, and then B, enough time. Is that the take?
That's what I would say overall.
And then the other piece of that was that you say 100T will very much regret letting him go if we let him go. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, Jordan, you're up.
You just ask the clarifying questions and then rest your case, Cole.
I'm helping make it clear to you. Okay, I will weigh in also.
All right. Here's a couple thoughts I have, Jarrett. The first one is, so I'll just put these out there. I'm kind of taking Cole's path here. Ryan was one of the few people who got a full year with a roster. And now that roster was far from optimized, right? But he did have a full year. And so there are a couple things that I think are interesting where I could see this playing out. And I don't think that it would be, I don't think it would probably be like everybody would be just really devastated, but I'll back up a little bit. So he did get a full year. That's a long time. And now with this new roster, he got a few weeks. I can't remember exactly. 5.
Week 5 is when he came in.
Okay. So the things that I think are, and I was wondering if I was waiting to see if you're going to bring this up. We have a new coach now, and so there's a possibility that Tommy just didn't do well under Zix for whatever reason. And I think the question I have about this is, what is he likely to develop into under a different coach, if anything different from what we've seen? So I think there might be something to that. I'm going to claim that for my take since you didn't say it. But it is interesting to me, if let's say Reapered were to look at Ryoma and think about using him in a different way or having him kind of perform differently. Now, I am still not convinced that he would be a better bet than Abbe would be. And I think so. Like even the things that we saw in Ryoma's highlight reel before he came to the LCS, I think we have seen Abbe doing on a bigger stage in the LEC on the same kinds of champs, right? He can play the assassins that Ryoma was known for when he was in Osh. So I think that there are some of those tendencies, but that have actually played out in a major region where that we've never seen Ryoma play those, whether it's because the coach didn't have that in his toolkit, like that wasn't his preferred style, or because nobody had confidence that he was actually good enough at those champs to make it work. So I think for me, just to summarize, I think it's possible that he could be a better mid than we have seen him be. I still think the upside is lower than Abbe, based on what I've seen.
Yeah, that was going to be my main answer to this, is that if you're claiming that 100T is going to regret letting him go, that's where I can't agree, because to me that implies that Abbe doesn't work out on a level that Ryoma, could match. Like if 100T is trying to figure out who the better mid lane play is, it's hard for me to see Abbe not definitively winning that. Now, hopefully it's not a bang situation, but I really think the chances of that are low. And so while I too agree that Ryoma can probably get better, I don't think 100T will ever regret that portion of it, their move. Now, here's one other thing to consider. Ryoma. I see the chat talking about a change of scenery for him maybe being a good thing. I am not positive, because especially when it comes to a starting spot in LCS, what's going to happen in the off season when FlyQuest or I'm just throwing out a random team, right? Just throwing out a random team. But if FlyQuest says we've picked up Ryoma as our new starting mid laner, what do you think is going to happen to that boy? He's going to get flamed like crazy whenever he gets picked up and sent somewhere else. And so if he goes somewhere else, he has to go somewhere super low key where it doesn't matter, right? Like maybe a CLG or something, like where no one's even really checking for it. Because otherwise, the same crap that he encountered here at 100T, which, by the way, I hate to say it, but our fans did not treat him super well most of the time. That is going to follow him to an org that has a lot of eyeballs and expectations. So he needs to go to somewhere low key if that is going to be true. If it's not that, like if he goes to a team like EG, for example, I think that would be a pretty big backlash in my opinion. And if he goes to a team like that, like I would say he's actually better off staying here with a coach change and just, hanging out, even though he would be working with Golden Glue. Rather than Reapered for the most part. I still think it would be better for him to hang low instead of go to a high profile team with bigger expectations. Any thoughts on that? Any rebuttal to that, Jarrett, before we wrap?
Well, one thing, as I said, is if we didn't put him at academy. So not like it would be regretful if we dropped him completely.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Do you prefer to see him in academy for like a long time?
I would say one more year, and if he doesn't have an upside, or even if he does have a massive upside, but it's not as much as Abbedagge, I would look to sell him.
Yeah.
I remember Papa Smithy saying, we are trying to become an improved C9 with the whole we are winning in LCS and we are making the next generation talent and selling them off.
Yeah.
Where I think if Tommy could be a good place to implement that if all works out.
I think like if you're 100T and you feel really strongly about Abbe, like Abbe's going to be a long-term player for us, even if that just means he lives out the full term of his contract, which is end of 2023, to me, it's like, if you don't believe in the player like developing into a super good LCS mid that's in your academy position, you dump it and try and find that person now. Try and develop the next thing now. Because like, look, if I'm feeling very secure about my mid lane, I'm moving on to the next project because I wouldn't personally put Ryoma in that class of like a potential high tier mid laner in the LCS, which is what you are looking for. Even though you've got that covered now with Abbe, in my opinion, maybe we'll hear more about that later. Your project now for the academy spot then becomes who are we bringing up to take that spot? So I would, if you have an org willing to buy him, which I don't know if that would actually manifest, I would do it sooner rather than later, even though I love Tommy. So. Okay, now it's time for Jordan and I to grade your performance here. Jordan, you want to go first? Sure. This time I am just passing to you because.
Yep. All right, Jared. I think for me the saving grace on this take is the part you added at the end, or reminded us of at the end. You did say it at the start, but it's not that if we let him go, it's if we don't put him in academy, right? So for me, I think that is actually a pretty tough decision, and I think good takes always lead you to thinking about a tough decision. Because I think there is a real question there is, do you give the new coach time to observe firsthand? Or do you sell to the highest bidder? And I think that's a hard question. So you're saying that we would regret it if we did sell. I'm gonna actually that last part is really warm me up to this one. I'm gonna go solid 80.
I'm going to. I feel like we can move on securely from that and not worry too much about it. So I'm gonna toss him a 72. All right, bringing your average, Jarrett, to 76. Congratulations. You are now
Jarrett,
leading the pack.
Pass the test, Jared.
Hey, Jared.
No, I like it.
Jared, we love you, dude. We're happy you've been here with us for a really long time, man. Thanks for always being a Hunter Talk supporter, man. You're a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Thanks, Jared.
Have a good night.
Later, bud.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, let's do this. Jarrett, starting us off.
We have a scoreboard?
We do. Cool. So I'm not going to show it right now. I'll show it at the end.
Okay.
But I am tracking scores. And we'll give an update on that later in the show. Welcome Papa Smithy to the chat where he gets to ridicule takes as well.
Papa, feel free to provide a guest judge score to any takes you hear.
Yeah.
We'll factor that in.
The Papa score.
Okay. Cole, you tell me when we're ready for the next take.
Yeah,
I've got it lined up.
Did you mic test with the person?
No.
Okay, yeah.
But I will now.
Go ahead and do that. And we will get ready for the next one. And while he's doing that, shout out Lil Thieves for the sub. 10 months, he says, Abba, 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 Abba. Unreal Dreamer, thank you for the sub. Should be longer, but glad I can be consistent with it. Spicy Cast so far. Heck yeah. That's Unreal Dreamer with the 12 months. Happy sub birthday. I think we're ready now, right? For our next homie.
Speaking of Unreal Dreamer, quick shout out. I just referred a friend who loves Genshin Impact to watch Unreal Dreamer's Genshin Impact stream, Best in the Biz. If you've not seen it, check it out. Okay, Cole, are you ready for the next take?
Yes.
Math Geek, welcome to Keep It 100.
Thanks for having me, Dads.
Math Geek.
Quite
dude.
Welcome.
It is good to have you on this portion of the show. Man, I saw your take earlier in the Discord, so I'm like chomping at the bit to talk about this one. So let me turn the time over to you. Lay it on us.
Okay, so my take that I put in the Discord was Reapered was a better acquisition than Abbedagge. And let me clarify something first. I don't think the Abbedagge acquisition was bad. I'm really excited about that. But I think Reapered will bring a lot of structure to the team. I think that he'll be able to work well with Someday and hopefully bring out a lot of that potential there, along with creating some synergies and getting good reads on the meta and fresh takes, fresh drafts that we haven't seen much this spring. And I think that if you were to only bring in Abbedagge, we wouldn't have as much of a chance of taking third or second this coming split as we do with both of them, or even if it had just been Reapered.
Nice. Let me ask you this, Math Geek. If the take is that Reaper will ultimately be a bigger deal, how much of that are you attributing to the draft? How much of that are you attributing to overall strategy of how we play the game, and how much are you attributing to player development?
So I'd probably say like 20% player development, and then 40% improved strategies and 40% improved drafting. And something I forgot to mention also is he brings in more recruiting power with him. So I think the Papa Reapered combo is going to give us a lot of sway when we're trying to bring people in the future.
I like that part. All right. Should I lead this one off, Jordan?
Please.
Okay. I'm going to start with the last thing you said about the recruitment. I got to say, it's very hard to know if that's going to bear out to be true. I hope it is. I don't have an opinion either way. I really hope that is true. Reaper brings with him a pedigree, which is really good. There is the fact that he hasn't worked in the scene for a while. I think that is rumored to be because the man commands a pretty penny. So if that's true, then I'm not super worried about that. And in fact, I would even be excited because he might have some fresh new ideas. Now, I hope what you're saying is true about attracting more people to 100T in the future. I got to say, it's always an uphill battle with an NA team, right? If the goal is like, let's get in the top players that are going to help us contend year in, year out, it kind of tends to be those high value imports. At least that's the current meta, I guess, of team building. So that's interesting. I feel like I can't weigh either way on that. Like, I hope it's true. I'm not sure the Reapered buff is enough, but maybe the Reapered Papa combo does some good things for us.
Yeah. So if I can.
Yeah, please.
So I think that yes, the NA coming to NA is a uphill battle all the time, like you mentioned. But when you say, hey, come to NA, come to play with Papa and the most successful world's coach of all time, or international coach of all time from NA, that has a little bit more sway.
Yeah. And I should note Papa Smithy in the chat saying players want to play with great players and great coaches. So for sure it's true. That implies some things about past coaches with 100 Thieves. That's all I'll say about that comment. And
don't read into the man's comments.
No, I'm just saying like that. I'm just saying the trick is the other part of what Papa said is great players and great coaches. How much of that is great coach? How much is that is great players? I think the ideal is you want to walk into a situation where you're going to feel like you can win and you're going to feel like you can get paid. Like, getting paid and losing isn't enough, right? You do so the totality of it is great. I'm gonna weigh more on the side of players. What other players are there more than what side of coaches personally? Now, for the rest of like, talking about like macro strategy and player development, and drafting, that's where I get really excited about Reaper, because from what little I know about his history in NA, he's been someone who's like just unafraid, right? He feels convictions about what he wants to do, and a lot of the times that can end up being different than how people feel that should be going. You know, whether it's benching prominent players or having like a different strategy, a different play style than what the NA meta is. He seems to be a guy who will just do that if he thinks it's the right thing. And it kind of feels like more often than not, he's been right. So that's a big deal for me. And I agree that I'm super excited for that.
Yes, Cole, let me try and there's a one thing that came up about recruiting. I know, Matthew, you said recruiting was about 20% in your mind, the importance here. Am I citing that figure correctly?
No, the 20% was player development, and then
we didn't even.
That was
40% was recruiting.
No, the recruiting was just.
He added that on afterwards.
Recruiting was 0%, so I don't even know if I should address this piece of it.
It's because of how I asked him the question. That's my fault.
Yeah, you have 3 portions. Decide which ones get which. Here's my thought on recruiting. Even though this is a sprinkle on top. I don't think he has that much recruiting to do, because if you think about it, we've got what we consider like we're locked in at mid. We're not recruiting for mids anymore. No longer open for business. I mean, I imagine, but I legitimately don't think there's a mid that we could pursue now from a financial standpoint, even if we had the option at a kind of a higher tier mid. Think one of the established world greats. Maybe they would go to try to find a way, additional funding round to write that check.
Sell some more hoodies, man. Easy.
Sell just a couple more hoodies. So mid is set. Someday's got his green card, so find me a better domestic top laner. FBI is,
so
top
good.
tier. Like I can't.
Good.
So from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, there are not a lot of easy places to say this would benefit heavily from recruiting better talent, stronger talent. So I think that's an interesting one. I don't know. Should we get back to the take a little bit on this, Cole? Like I kind of want to flesh out the idea that, because one of the things that Cole specifically has always hammered on for the last year and a half plus is just the importance of having that super solid mid lane. The quarterback, the spine of the team, like whatever you want to call it. And I think so for me, that is like the level of importance. And I think that there are a lot of teams who can make do with coaches who are not that tier, right? So here's I guess to summarize this, I'd say we've seen teams find success with coaches who I think people would argue are not world tier coaches. I don't know if we've seen teams do that without top tier mid laners. So that for me is the scale. And right now I'd say the evidence we've seen indicates that if you want to hang a banner, you have to have a top 3 mid.
Okay. So counter argument to that. If we get Abbedagge, but we keep the same drafting style that we had last split, and we don't let him expand his play style or bring in what he wants, and we're pretty rigid about that, do you think that we do any better next split?
That's a maybe. I mean, that's the question, right? That's the question is, and that's a good question.
Yeah. So that's sort of my take on it is that's why bringing in a coach that maybe works better with the players, has a little bit more flexibility around drafting. I mean, I was really excited when Bang came over, but that did not pan out. I don't want to say it's all coaches' problems, but I think having that good, solid coach to build the team off of is a good foundation to play off of. And the mid is important to build off of as well. But
yep. Which is why these two things in combination are so exciting, right?
Yes. Yep.
I feel like I don't even want to talk about Bang anymore because like it might be like a Candyman situation where we'll just manifest that situation by saying the name Bang enough, and I'm not down for that. But yeah, actually, good point by you, but also good point, Jordan, to bring it back to the take, which is, will Reapered be more important than Abbe in the long run? And Math Geek, I really like your reasoning here. I like your brain. But I disagree with the conclusion if that's how it's stated. Like, you know what I mean? If it's Abba's not going to be as impactful as Reapered. I gotta lean Abbe, man. I gotta lean Abbe. So I'm gonna come out and say I respectfully and gentlemanly disagree with your conclusion here. Even though I think you're great. You're just wonderful. Let's rate the take, Jordan.
Cole, you get to go first this time.
Okay. I am going to give, so I have to just point out, I disagree with the conclusion. I think that, like I said, your thought process is good though. Like, it's not like, oh, there's no reason for him to think what he's saying. But I just disagree with the conclusion. I'm gonna give you, I disagree with Jarrett too. I'm gonna give you a 78. All right, 78 from me. Jordan, go ahead.
I'm gonna go a little lower. I went a 72.
Ooh, can I raise mine? I feel like Math Geek needs more than that.
I'll take a solid C.
75,
exactly.
right down the middle. All right, Math Geek, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate your
thanks,
take.
guys.
We appreciate you. Take
Alrighty. Let's go to the next one. Oh gosh, that's tough. Jarrett, I love you too. I gave you too high of a score, man, because I disagree with the conclusion there. I should have. My grading scale is flawed. Sorry, guys. Papa Smithy gives it 100 though, so that's all that matters. Papa Smithy,
Bumping up the average. There you go. Okay.
A+. Okay.
All right.
We have our next person ready.
I'm gonna do a little testy test, and then we'll be ready, Cole.
Mic check. Thank you, Total Ram, for the sub and the follow. And hope you made it into the Discord with your take. Poopaboo. Is that how you say it, Poopaboo? I've never known how to say it. I've known you forever.
Poopaboo.
Poopaboo. It's in the Discord in case you didn't find that already. If you want to drop a take in, though, be aware it is LCS focused. All right, this is League of Legends focused, I should say.
Yeah.
By the way, Anonymous with the 5 gifted. Anonymous has made the return. Thank you so much for that.
Wow. Yes. Thank you, Anonymous. The return of Anonymous. All right, Cole. Let's get this next take. I don't know how long we're approved to run this show for, but there are quite a few takes out there.
I doubt we'll get to them all, but
okay.
let's just do what we can.
Yep, we'll pull them as we can. Okay, Cole, we're ready for the next one. We'll keep
Let's
moving
go.
through these at a very
Welcome to the
admirable
show,
pace.
caller. Who is it?
It's Mont.
Mont.
Hello.
Who posted
Mont.
a really cool project for school in our Discord today.
Thank you.
Skinning a gun from Destiny in 3D. It was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
While not reskinning guns from Destiny, he's coming up with hot takes. So, Mont, go ahead. Let us know what your take is.
Okay, so I don't think Abbedagge is gonna be as good as people think he is. I think he's gonna be like a mid-tier mid in LCS, like similar to Ryu. I don't see him breaking in the top 3, like above Power of Evil, Jensen, or Perks. Well, I don't know if it's the best option, like long term, but I think it is an upgrade over like Ryoma and Demonte. So we're better than we were. I'm not sure about long term.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cole, look,
is tough.
somebody had to say it. Cole, somebody had to put this on the table to acknowledge the elephant in the room.
You're right. All bad positions need someone to argue them. You're right. Mont. Nothing personal. Jordan, you're gonna go first. I'll warm up. I'll stretch.
Okay. So, Mont, this is really the question, right? It's, did we do enough? Is this enough of a pickup to crack into the top 3? That's what everyone is thinking, if not asking. And I think a lot of people are asking it. So help us understand why you're not convinced that, like, let's start. Okay, give us really quick, and we don't need the rationale. Just do your 1, 2, 3 mid laners. You gave the top 3, but in what order do you have them?
Perks, Jensen, Power of Evil.
Okay. So agreed. talk about Power of Evil and why. Like, what do you see about him that you feel is going to make him a better mid laner in the LCS? Let's just start there.
Well, I just want to say first, I think we can still get top 3 as a team, but I think if we want to win, then I don't think Abbedagge is our pick for that. But Power of Evil has like his control mage playstyle that he's like known for, and I think he's like the best at it in LCS, and that's kind of what I see Abbedagge as too, kind of like a better Ryoma where he plays more like control mage, less like Demonte where it's like constantly roaming. But
Yep.
I just don't
Standard,
like
as Tim calls it. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
and I think
gosh.
Power of Evil is just way better at doing that than Abbedagge will be.
Okay. Cole, I can tell that you have.
Look.
a
No, I'm gonna
response
let you go,
brimming.
Jordan. I just let me make an observation. Two observations. One is a bit better Ryoma is like that is just such an insulting way to describe Abbe. Like, I just have a higher opinion than him, but more on that later. Then the other thing is, you said PoE is definitely the best control mage in NA. Do you think he's better than Perks?
Specifically at control mages, yes, but
Ooh.
I think Perks is better at Perks has a more versatile playstyle than Power of Evil.
All right, go ahead, Jordan.
I mean, look, I think this one's ready for response anytime. I've asked the clarifying questions I had. I think that helps me to understand. So, I'm happy to pass it back to you, Cole, or I can continue to delve deeper into this.
Well, I don't think you responded to the take itself, right? I don't think you gave your thing. Yeah, so I want to give you a shot at that, and then I'll
okay.
I'll go off.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Look, I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't know if you know this, but I don't watch a ton of LEC. I watch a hair more than Cole because Cole watches none of the LEC.
None LEC.
And that's a principled stance he holds. So I just don't watch that much of it.
It's a joke, everybody. It's a joke. All right. So
And
I
as a
pull
result,
the curtain back. I have watched LEC.
Yeah, it's a bit.
I regret it.
I'm not the one who's going to be able to say to you, like, here are the specific things that make Abbe better than PoE in this regard. I've seen the highlight reels. Like, I know how he plays. I know he can play, but I also know that he's not like a long-standing presence in the LEC, right? He is a newer addition to what some would consider to be kind of the top tier of LEC mids, if people put him there at all. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I'm probably not the authoritative person to discuss this in detail. But I think, and I've been pretty high on PoE for a while. Like, I've thought he's top 3 talent in NA for, I think I said it on the pod like 2 or 3 years ago. And I remember chat flaming me for it at the time. I still think about it a lot, clearly. But I have questions about PoE too, right? Which is, one, what's the caliber of the competition in the LCS versus the LEC? So I do think that in general, with the departure of Perks, obviously I think that goes down a lot. But I was playing against Perks as well when he was playing ADC. So I think that he's been tested against harder opponents in the LEC more recently than PoE has. And I think I see Abbe as a more aggressive standard player. I think that he seems to find ways into fights in a way that somebody like who is just more aggressive does, right? And I think of people like FBI, like the way he positions himself in a fight, like he has more of that kind of play style in my eyes. So I think it's gonna be really interesting because I think what you're gonna have is a matchup of, like, I do think that PoE is a very safe kind of scaling. Like, he almost reminds me more of a Cody Sun, right? Who's gonna scale towards the late game and eventually take over team fights and stuff like that. So I think that somebody like Abbedagge could upend that a little bit. And I think it's going to be really fun to watch them challenge each other. And, what is at this point all conjecture and debate is who comes out on top. We don't know because it hasn't happened yet. But it's fun to guess and think about. So what I'm hearing you say is you think that PoE's kind of steady state, solid performance in the type of position he plays is going to be enough to keep him ahead of Abbe, right?
Yes.
Can I go?
Please.
All right. Oh, okay. So, Mont, did you watch our playoff series against them? Did you watch Ryoma versus PoE?
Yes.
How did that matchup go?
From what I remember, Ryoma did pretty well into him.
Beat him in lane?
Yes.
I don't think PoE is bad. I don't think he's bad at all. I don't think you could talk me up to like top 3, but I have like a lot of respect for him. So don't get me wrong. But he didn't I don't think they were necessarily trying to play this way. I don't think they were trying to like play through PoE. But Ryoma like had a CS lead, I feel like, for most of that lane during the playoffs. Also, do you remember what Perk said about Abbe? He said it was a massive upgrade, right? And he said, of course, this is a huge deal for 100T, right? Do not understate that. That's from, look, Perks is the best in NA, right? He's one of the best in the world. That dude is so freaking good, all right? And he has a lot of respect for this move, right? He thinks it's going to be a big deal. So don't discount that. Other than that, like, again, and I agree with like PoE plays a good control mage kind of thing. And I also think that the meta is like, probably there's more time spent when control mages are effective in the meta than not, right? But if the wind blows this way or that way, and we're not playing control mages and instead it's an assassin meta, Abbe is going to do things that I can't say on a Twitch stream to PoE. And not to mention, I think he's still going to be a better control mage player than PoE to begin with. I think like the competition in Abbe's mind is going to be between him and Perks, not between him and anybody else. And sorry to Jensen, because I know Jensen forever was, in the Bjergsen shadow and wanted to crack, and then everything fell apart for him. I think it's going to be Abbe top 2. So I cannot agree with this, man. I just cannot. I think like the worst case scenario for me is that PoE is like a slightly better control mage player. But that's worst case scenario. It's like I would say Abbe's going to be better in all other situations.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
one thing I will say,
I cannot say that it's not. I just can't compare those two guys, man. Abbe's better in my opinion.
the one
Get
thing
back
I
in
will
there, Mont.
say is that the TSM 100 Thieves series, I re-looked at the champions played.
Mhm.
The 2 games where Ryoma was winning lane was when Ryoma was on 80 carries mid, which are like notorious for winning early. And Power Vivo played Orianna, Syndra, and then 2 Azir games, all of which he definitely outscaled us, which is kind of what he's known for.
Right, which is why I
So-
specifically pointed to lane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, fair point. I don't know what the counterpick situation was in those situations. I'm just saying, like, he didn't like take over that game and like just crush us in lane, and that was Ryoma, who most people evaluate him as worse than I evaluate Ryoma, right? So I'm just saying, I think Abbe is going to be like a massive difference maker, and that's why I disagree with the take.
I think that probably concludes our time with this take. I'll add this though. That Papa Smithy is on record and is in chat saying top 2 NA for
That's right.
Abbe. So
That's right. That's
I
where
mean,
you said their projections have him.
So that means that they definitely think he's better than PoE and Jensen. So I guess they've watched a lot more tape on this and they have much more analytical opinion of it. So whether or not you agree with them, you don't have to. But we spent a lot of our time talking about whether or not he's better than PoE. The org would say he's better than PoE and Jensen.
Yeah.
So that's where they're starting the season. We'll have to see what plays out. But let's get to
The
putting some
grades.
numbers to this one.
All right. What's your grade, Jordan?
Here's what the take is. I think he's slightly better than Ryoma. I don't want to misquote this?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
slightly upgraded.
Slightly.
Slightly upgraded.
So-
Ryoma. Oh, you just lowered his
So,
grade for me.
I'm gonna go with Perks on this. I tend to agree with Perks more that I think he's a massive upgrade rather than a slight upgrade. So I'm gonna come in at 62.
62.
Cool.
All right, I am gonna come in at a 20, and those 20 points are because I like you so much. All right. So Mont,
Yeah.
please don't be offended by that. We have a respectful disagreement. And hey, maybe you'll be right in the long run. For our sake, I sure hope you're not.
Just want to say, I called the 100 Thieves kind of downslope last split with after lock-in, but
Okay, but you're dealing with the guy who told you the exact week DeMonte would sub out. So this is kind of
True.
like a you're PoE and I'm Abbedagge situation. So Mont, thanks man. Thanks for the call, dude.
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Mont's another good one, everybody. All right. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one. I think Jordan, I DM'd you someone who I think we should pull for the next take.
What?
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 Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I think you're on it. I think you keep doing what you're doing. I think you know.
Got it.
Sorry, everybody. Let me prepare for the next guy. Here, and then we will get ready to go. Thank you to Anonymous for the gifted. I think we did. Wait, that was another 5 gifted, or am I tripping? Oh no, that's just another thank you for the 5 gifted. I appreciate it. Yes. Thieves said I called Reapered last year. Again, I respect people who predicted Reapered, but a lot of people predicted Reapered. All right, I'm just saying that.
Cole,
We ready?
I have but one question for you.
Yes.
Are you ready for the next take?
I'm ready for the next take. There's Anonymous with another 5 subs. Yes, I'm ready for the next take.
Whoa.
Let's do it.
Okay. Thanks, Anonymous. All right, Cole. Please, everyone, give a warm 100 Talk welcome to Joel. You need that audience. Yeah. Live studio audience.
Joelito, what's up?
What's up? I'm good. How are y'all?
I'm good. This is not
very
your
well.
first Keep It 100, am I right?
No, I was on a previous one. I forgot my take, but I got like a B.
Which
It's a solid
tonight would have you in first place so far. So
Yeah.
let's see what you had
Nice.
prepared for us tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually not watching the stream, so you have the graphic pulled up.
I did. he lifted the curtain again. Yes, we have some visual aids. Let me know when you're ready for the visual aid. I'll put it up.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll go through the whole thing, but I just kind of focus on the end where so we reached our peak, right? We went to Worlds, we messed
Okay, I'll go
that
ahead and
up,
pull it up,
and
pull it
then
up.
we just.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry. All right, it's up.
This makes
Wow.
me laugh so bad.
Look at this.
My man came with charts and graphs with his take.
Yeah.
Let's
the
go.
bar's been raised.
Let's go. All right, go ahead, Joel.
All right, so yeah, we hit our peak. That slope is misleading. We went exponential. Like we hit Worlds, like first split, like we did really good, right? I felt really good to be a 100T fan, right? And ever since then, that's downward slope has been happening. You see all those players there, like it's just a mess. And then ever since I call it the round 2 of Trust the Papa, because you see at the bottom we have Ryoma. You know my feelings about Ryoma.
Yes, you've
round
made that
2
quite
of Trust
clear.
the Papa. Round 2 of Trust the Papa has been going pretty well in my opinion. You know, Golden Thieves, and now this whole shakeup of the coaching staff and our new mid laner and everything. My take, I guess, I don't really have a take, but I guess what I'm thinking is this is really like the team we have at the moment. I feel can definitely compete domestically, win championships domestically. They can probably compete internationally and take games off some of the top teams. But I don't know. I personally don't think they're a world's like champion. Like consistently, I don't see us being best of fives against the top LCK, top Europe, top LPL. So I guess that's why at the end you see like those 3 different directions we could go. I feel like right now you see we're plateauing. That plateau kind of signifies like we're gonna be good, but then we're probably not gonna reach the worlds, in my opinion. Or we're gonna reach worlds, but we're not gonna win worlds. We're not gonna go to the semifinals and like take I don't know Chinese teams, but like take the top Chinese teams to 5 games. We're probably gonna stick around meddling until we get some insanely good talent and then win worlds. So I guess, I don't know if this is kind of anticlimactic. Like, are we just going to be stuck being good domestic? Are we going to be the next C9, just like chilling? Or are we actually going to be the first NA team to like take it to the next level? Like, what's next, I guess?
Well, C9 went pretty far on the world stage as far as NA is concerned, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily be disappointed with that. But yeah, I like that attitude, Joel. I like that attitude. Okay, let's talk through this. This is so great. This is so great. This is like AJ Beck tracking the caster records. This is the kind of material that I love about our audience. So thank you for providing this. All right, so I see what you mean. I love how you have Worlds and baseball jerseys as the peak because it's so representative, right? It's like LCS success and like the best ever like aesthetic thing we ever did. But yeah, the downfall was real, and it wasn't. You've got all the names like kind of in order of like how disastrous it was, maybe.
Yeah, I think Stunt. So I like Stunt personally.
Me too.
I like him because he has a go button. Even though that button's wrong a lot of the times, I kind of like that in a player where he kind of just goes in.
He plays like
so
you.
I want to put Stunt a little higher. Yeah, exactly.
I played with you.
Stunt a little higher there, but yeah, I think I would put him above Cody maybe. But yeah, it goes in order of like how far we've fallen.
Right.
And you see at the very bottom, yeah.
No, interestingly, I don't see Anda on the graph. Is that an omission?
I forgot about him.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say. I think knowing you, I think that was probably supposed to be on the graph. Maybe ran out of room. But then the rebound, the slope of enlightenment. when we grab the Golden Thieves, we fire Zixton, Brigid, Reapered, and then Abbe comes in, and now our destiny goes different ways. If you forgive me if you already said this, what are the different branches for you? Like what is the, so we have the technology trigger, right, to kick this whole thing off. What's the trigger for the branches here at the end?
I think for me, domestic success is almost a given with the roster and the coaching staff. Like we're gonna be competing for first or second or third, in my opinion. So I think that's like the flat line. Like we're gonna, that's like expectations, right?
Okay.
Anything less than that is probably the down arrow.
Okay. I get you. So it's really like your lever here is our performance, like our results. It's not a pretty choice we make. It's the results we get. So
yeah, pretty much.
Joel, I gotta say, man, this is like flawless. I'm trying to find a problem with this, and I just can't, because I think everything you're saying, and you and I have disagreements about some things, but I think like I have the same expectation for us that we will consistently compete in the top 3. We'll compete for a domestic title. I think as long as Abbe performs according to the scouting expectations of him, I think we'll have a shot at a domestic title. Probably a little less likely to happen as long as Perks is in the league, but you never know. And I agree that like maybe I see us at Worlds and maybe having a little bit of success if Reapered can really pull some magic out. I'm finding it hard to find anything I disagree with on this graph, and it's bringing me tears of joy. Jordan, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's this is one of those things where you see a graph and realize that it perfectly describes something that it is in no way supposed to. It's great. So yeah, I think this is a little bit of ingenuity. I'm really interested in the trajectory piece. You know, for me, that's obviously like I'm hoping that there's some lesson in the next chapter that talks about how to guarantee that you hit that sharp turn to the upward direction there, so that we can let the team know what that stuff is. But yep, I can't disagree with any of this. If anything, chat is having fun just thinking about the other things that you kind of reinforce this the application of this. So yeah, I think you nailed it, man.
Yeah, I guess my main question would be kind of what Cole mentioned is like, for that upward trend, like what has to happen?
Yep.
Like who do we switch out?
Yeah.
Because honestly, like I like the team it is the way now,
Mhm.
and I can't really think of who can I pick out and like put somebody better in and say like, oh yeah, we're gonna be like 10 times better now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see anything.
Yeah, whereas I don't think that was the case before. And I would say that's kind of dependent on if everybody can perform at the level they should. Because I would, you know, as I've said in past podcasts, I think it's clear that Someday and Closer were underperforming expectations a little bit towards the end of the split. But if they are on track, like if they are performing the way that they can, it's really hard for me to see a place where I would make a switch to. Because even something like, you know, okay, what if we can trade Core JJ for Huhi? It's like, all right, first of all, Core JJ is an insane player. He's right up there with Perks, in my opinion, for the best in the LCS, regardless of position, right? But it's like Huhi and FBI are already, in my opinion, like they have like the slight edge for best bot lane in NA, right? So it's like, is it worth trying to break that up? I don't know. Core JJ is a sick player, but Huhi and FBI have a really good thing going that I think works very well. So I don't see a need to change. And yeah, if Abbe performs up to expectations, it's like Perks is the only person that I would say is a definite, like, yeah, if you trade those two, it would be an upgrade. And I don't think that would ever happen. So yeah, man, it's just going to depend on Closer and Someday, I think. And I think Someday, if I heard right, maybe Papa, if he's still in chat, he can confirm this, or maybe he's not willing to, but I think someone posted that Someday is in Korea right now, grinding on the server.
Oh, we like that.
I love that if that's true. I hope it is. I think that would only mean good things, and then it would just be Closer, you know? Yeah, Papa Smithy says, yeah, he's there recharging and grinding. So, man,
that's great.
I love this, and I'm excited for it. So, Joel, I'm going to give you a 100.
Oh, he went to 100!
Nice.
Jordan?
All right, Cole. I have to at least leave the door open for anyone else, right? I mean, if we give a double 100 here, do we just end the show? I don't know how this works.
Oh, we don't have to end the show. Maybe someone else will also get 100.
Ace the test. All right. Joel, I'm going to give you a 98 because
oh my goodness.
Because I really want to know. I want you to do a version 2 of this that describes clearly how you can guarantee that you hit the upward trajectory. That's the take that I want to get.
Bro, that's not his job. That's Papa's job.
Well, yeah, but that's the take, right? You got to throw a little bit of take in there.
This is the most controversial thing that's ever happened on 100 Talk. Joel getting a 99 instead of the solid 100. We're never going to live this down. It's going to be like the dunk contest between Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, where people say Aaron Gordon was robbed, even though he wasn't. All right, Joel, thank you for coming today,
Appreciate
man. This
it.
was absolutely incredible. Good work.
This was fun.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thank y'all. I'll see you around.
See you,
Take
bud.
care, bud.
See ya.
Oh man, Jordan is a hater. Chat. Jordan is a hater. You need to get a coffee pasta going. Jordan is a hater. I don't want to hear Jordan. You're a hater. You're a hater.
Listen, he started his takes by saying, "I don't really have a take." I mean,
but
it was
he
brilliant.
did. His take was, here is the trajectory of 100 Thieves for the entire history of the LCS, man. Come on, man.
Is that a take? Or is that descriptive analytics?
Oh my gosh, what a hater. Chat. Spam the Cole arrow face emote if you think Jordan is just being a hater. Here it goes. Here's the one. If you think Jordan's just being a hater. And Jordan, I'll banish you to go pick the next person. Go get out of my face, man. I'm so angry.
Cole. I'm going to pick somebody to really make up for my transgressions.
I hope so, for your sake. Oh, Joel, this is a great injustice that was performed today, and I'm sorry for that. Well, got to make up for Jordan the rest of the show. Dang it.
Cole,
Yes, sir.
I'm back.
All right. Did you fetch us a good take?
I fetched a great take, Cole. Happy to welcome to the show Noxwar.
Yeah, from the Flight Check crew. What's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing
Fantastic, except for Jordan just ruined the night.
great. Just ruining dreams left and right. That's what I'm here for.
We're just going to cap it off with the 99 for the night and leave it at that.
That's right. And now here's what I didn't explain to Cole, but if he ever goes 100 again, I always have the ability to keep it from being another 100. He could do the same to me. He could always guarantee.
Yeah, but the difference between you and me is I stand for what's right and am not vengeful. Noxwar, lay your take on us.
You guys want the hot take or you want my actual take?
This is a great point of inflection for us. Long-term 100 Talk fans will know. Hot takes you will be held accountable for. So if you feel bold enough to do a hot take, just know that you better have some reasoning for it and not just be, it's like the other call-in show that may or may not be happening right now, gets callers that are like, my take is CLG is going to win the LCS, go to Worlds, and win Worlds this year, 2021. All right. I do not, like, if you do that, dude, I'm not even going to let you explain. So, that in mind.
I'll keep it to the actual take then.
Okay. All right. No, we don't do takes just to have takes. All right.
This is a very serious show.
Yeah.
As you've just
philosophically, we do what we believe in.
All right.
Right.
So in that case, my take personally is that currently 100 Thieves is the best org for development right now, even over Cloud9 and even over Evil Geniuses. They have the history of showing that they've brought up players from 100X and 100 Academy that are now working their way into the LCS. And I believe that because of that, they are the org that should be respected the most for the current development of NA talent.
Wow. My man. Denzel voice, my man.
I'm in danger of losing my spot after that last take and then transitioning. I should have told somebody else, I think. What am I doing here?
This is a lot. Now, I will say I've been very disappointed in the Abbe reaction from outside the community towards 100T, as if 100T didn't, help lead the way with doing some things like amateur and whatnot. So let me ask you the tough question first, Nox, and just see what your thinking is on this. What about this year's iteration of 100X? What do you think about that? What's your evaluation? How does that, how do you count that when you come to evaluating 100T?
I personally believe that everybody goes through a growth stage, right? In which case, I think right now 100X is in the growth stage. They have new players that are coming up and into the system of how things are done. And currently, I believe that they're in the stepping stones of working their way to greatness right now. I do believe that they have the talent and there's potential in that roster. And if you give them the rest of the year, possibly even next year, you will start seeing them those players work their way into 100 Academy, and those players will continue to develop the even better players if they continue to stick with it.
Let me add a thought to that. I know this is not my current job on the pod here, but this just occurred to me. The difference between year 1 and year 2 100X is that in year 1, we were the only people out there signing talent. This year, how many? I mean, there's at least 4 or 5, right? LCS teams with an amateur squad. So, I mean, there you go, right? Like you have, that is just a completely different talent landscape when you start talking about that many other teams competing to sign what would be viewed as the best player. We had no competition in year 1. And I think as a result, we saw immediate results and we moved those players along incredibly quickly.
Can I make a quick counterpoint?
It's not my take.
Okay, go ahead.
This is not my take. I don't want to become the taker on this one. I'm just thinking about that. That's interesting.
Can I just make one counterpoint though? Like,
sure.
Because I don't think you're wrong at all. It's like I'm not sure if it's literally we were the only ones with an amateur team. It might have been. I'm not super sure. But the point you make is good. But on the other hand, like we may have not had really competition in space. But on the other hand, the dudes that we did have, it's like an especially talented crop of prospects. Like I think like. It's beyond just being in the space and not having anyone compete with it. It's like those guys already look like some of the most promising academy prospects across the entire breadth of the system, right? You're talking about Kenvi, you're talking about Tenacity, and you're talking about Poom. Like, I know Poom's had like a little bit of an up and down for this year, but he's got LCS stage experience, and I think he did better than he got credit for when he was in LCS. These guys look like standout talents among the academy crowd, and they all came through just that one position. So yeah, I get that they don't have competition in the space as much during that time, but at the same time, what a choice. What picks those were, man. Those guys are beasts.
Yep.
Okay, but getting back to the take is that 100T's development is actually like undercredited, right?
Undercredited, and I believe players coming up into the scene should be striving to get onto the 100 Thieves Academy team.
Ooh, okay, cool. What can I ask you? What about 100T, other than the fact that they have picked good players for development projects? Like, what about that makes you say those players should be in the system? They should want to play for 100T.
So, I mean, obviously it helps to have 100 Thieves be like a huge big name org that helps give you attention and helps get your name in the spotlight. So that obviously is a huge boon to being on the org itself, right? But in addition to that, you have a lot of people like Papa Smithy and a lot of the other players. I mean, Golden Glue is a smart coach, believe it or not. I've actually talked to him personally before, and he knows what he's doing, and he's slowly being able to bring up these players and teach them exactly what they need to do. So I think the what's the word I'm looking for? The system is in place for these players to strive and succeed, whereas a lot of the other academies, I haven't seen that so much. In watching over the course of Proving Grounds, you saw a lot of main rosters bringing down their coaches and stuff to the academy rosters, just so that way their academy rosters could get a boost to perform better in that particular tournament. I don't think you guys really ever had to do that. I don't know if that was the case or not, but from what I saw, you guys stuck to your guns in the same strategies that you were playing with, and it showed on the Rift.
Yeah, and eventually, I know, we ended up not getting all the way there to the final, but I was proud of the way the guys played getting there. And I mean, no org is not exactly like a group of developmental or purely developmental players, right? Like, these are guys who have been in academy, some on LCS like for a long time, and are clearly kind of already there. So there's kind of a philosophical difference between the players that you selected and grew, and then the players who have been around. And I don't mean to say this to take away from no org, because there's no org, right? Like, they got together and did that themselves. So it's not like there's an org who did this. But I'm just saying, like, to me, those things are not super comparable. And then so I wanted to make one other point here in agreement with what you're saying, Nox, is that aside from, we'll call it 1.5 players, because one was kind of on the fence with how he said, but aside from 1.5 players, no one's really ever said anything bad about playing with 100T, right? Like, Amazing, in fact, on Hotline League last week, went pretty far in defensive playing there, and said he enjoyed his time. He liked the system, the resources. He speaks highly of it despite, only being there for a little while. We saw Stunt when he left the org, his gratitude for getting a shot, and how he appreciated everything that 100 Thieves does. Like, the players, by and large, agree with what you're saying with it being a great place to play. And I think that's huge. I really do think that's huge.
If I may make one last point, I say this all as a diehard FlyQuest fan. I acknowledge that you guys are like the org to go to for this stuff.
Yeah, no, that's, I think one can always appreciate that when it's not, your affiliation doesn't change the way you can evaluate other orgs' systems, right? Like, I think if people in the past had told you C9 is not actually that great at developing talent, you'd call them on their BS, like recognizing it for what it is. So yeah, I think that's noted and appreciated. I mean, I think for me, the verdict still feels out. And I think that there's a lot of things that are kind of in motion. Personally, myself, I'm most excited to see, and I've talked about this a little bit, but the specific impact that having a more gelled LCS roster, more than, obviously we have not seen a single game played. So I'm speaking in terms of what I expect to see, but a more cohesive and gelled roster in the LCS, what effect that has downstream, right? So if you think about the time and space that having a solid first team allows for your second and third teams, I think that's a really important piece that I don't know if I've fully appreciated or valued. So that's what I'm really excited to see, is what decisions does that allow us to make differently elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, and I think it'll be good things. I think it'll be good.
A trickle-down effect of sorts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A couple more things to add. Papa Smithy in chat said most mainstream fans don't count it as development till a player is performing to a high level on LCS, which is fine. They don't watch Academy or Amateur and want to grade it on finished projects. That needs time. And I'll say, along with, like, kind of piggybacking off of that, I mean, look what the other players we didn't mention here, look what happened with Sligo and Fake God, right? Like, they looked pretty good this year. Dignitas way overperformed expectations, and those players came out of the academy system at a time when 100T was, at some of their lowest points. You know what I mean? So I think that's another point in 100T's corner as far as player development goes. And it'll be interesting to see over time where like how much that keeps up. I mean, I think we're doing well right now, but obviously we did have a coaching change going into 2021, right? Like, we don't have Kelsey anymore. Now it's Golden Glue. I loved Kelsey. I like Golden Glue. So it may not be like a thing where one person's definitely better than the other, but we'll just have to see it bear out. All right, Jordan, do you want to grade this? I'll let you go first so I can wield my averaging power over you.
Yeah. I like this take for a lot of reasons. I think it's well thought out. It speaks well of us, speaks highly. I'm going to give this solid 87. And I could go even higher, actually. And since I said that, I'll go 89. Cole, 89.
I'm curious, what's the 11 for you?
The 11 points deduced.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think for me, I think there's still just a lot of questions.
Out. Yeah, the verdict's not in kind of on it. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I'll agree with that. So you said 89. I'll give Nox a 92. And we'll use the law of rounding to give you a 91.
Look at that.
Hell yeah, I'll take an A.
Oh, I'm going to deduct 1 point for the HE double hockey sticks.
Oops, I'm sorry.
It's a family stream, Nox. You're down to a 90. All right.
My bad.
Good.
You still got your A, but you're on notice.
I'm going to laugh if someone gets a 91 from here on out. Nox, thanks for calling. And while Nox is on here, we'll shout it out for him. Flight Check Crew at Flight Check Crew. That's the podcast for FlyQuest that's like 100 Talk. So if you want to be in a fan community of another great org, that's the one. Flight Check Crew.
Yeah.
Go watch Nox do his thing on stream.
Let me put a
appreciated, guys.
I'm going to put a slightly different plug on this. And it's, look, if you're thinking, well, I'm not a fan of FlyQuest, I'm here watching the 100 Thieves. If you're a fan of reasoned takes and careful consideration, also think about stopping by. That we need more of that in the community. And so I'm a fan of anybody who's doing that.
I will say they have a hot take segment of the pod, but at least they they put a disclaimer on it. It's like, you know,
Yes.
the advertising on socials, they have #ad or whatever. At least they do that. You know what you're getting into. Nox, thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
You too. Take care.
All right. We have time for probably one more. So who is it going to be? Jordan has the all-consuming power. He's drunk with
Wow,
power over this decision.
Truly, Cole, I am. Do you have any preference? Is there any take
No,
that
maybe
you were really
maybe we
hoping
want
to-
someone who's maybe a little disagreeable, but has some good
All
reasoning.
right, Cole, I got one.
While you do that, Dirty Offline in chat says, I'm a supporter of another LCS team apart from 100T, and I'm loving this show. Watch whenever you can. Thank you. What a pleasant, nice thing to say. Thank you very much. We're glad you're here, especially coming from another org. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it, y'all. We love all of you. Even the ones that we disagree with and give bad scores, we still love you.
This is always a fun show. So
Yeah, for sure.
Before we pull our next call, I'll just say thanks to everybody who's called in so far. You guys are great. Are you ready, Cole?
I think I'm ready. Jordan, I think I know what time it is. It's Tanner time. Maybe not the one that you were expecting. Bama Tide 88, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Disagreeable. I'm here.
Yeah, well, this is the guy that was consistently talking crap about the Illinois basketball team, no matter, disregarding their number 1 overall seed. And guess what? He was right, and it hurts really bad.
Right.
So let's see if
That's
he's right about something else that's going to hurt really bad. Bama Tide 88, go ahead.
So my take is basically to agree with LS on the decision to not get a Korean mid laner. The reason being because you need someone that can beat the best teams. And if you go with someone that's already 4th in their region, then you're not going to beat that region when you do have to play them. I think one of the reasons that we didn't do this is because you have to know the region you're recruiting in, and it's very hard without hiring someone to do it, to go into the region and find someone who might not be on a main team that might be in an academy because they have like 4 or 5 layers of academy. But in my opinion, you could get someone like LS to do this for a certain amount of money.
Wait. So is your take not only that we should have gotten a Korean mid lane instead of a EU mid lane, but that LS should be the GM?
No, I think you can hire someone to basically do the research and hiring for you. I think you can do that in like any sport.
Like a scout.
A scout,
Yeah,
but that's like more than a scout. That's like a scout / headhunter.
Yeah, it's only for one position, so it's a temporary job. Like you can have him do that in a week.
Yeah, a guide.
He
local
goes and
guy.
talks to organizations. He goes and talks to the actual players. He finds out if they're interested in moving, something like that. I feel like that it has to happen in between seasons as well, not in the middle of the season probably. So I'm not opposed to the pickup that we got because of the synergy, but I feel like this is a stepping stone to getting to Worlds, but never winning it. And this also brings up the question of if you're trying to define success, in my opinion, and like in other sports, this can be getting to out of the group stages and beating a team you're not supposed to and defining that as success. So if you beat an LCK team and even lose in semifinals, but you beat like the number 1 team in the tournament, that would be a successful season, as well as making the finals win or lose. So I think that it'll take a Korean mid laner to do that. And also, I think that you'll learn a lot by upgrading here as to whether or not, if you further upgrade, you could go further.
Okay. There's lots to talk about here. Let me ask you this. Let's see. Who in 2019 was the Korean mid laner that took over Worlds?
I'm not good with names.
So the last 4 teams in were IG, FPX, G2, and SKT. So SKT got knocked out by G2. I will say that along came Damwon. So that kind of like brought things back. But I'm like not sure I'm agreeing with this portion that like you have to have an LCK mid lane to beat the other regions. Am I not understanding that take all the way through?
I don't understand how you would beat another region with a 4th ranked player in their region.
And you're putting Abbedagge at
Okay.
4.
Okay. So I'm misunderstanding
3 or 4
the take.
in EU. So like if you go to Worlds, how are you going to win when your mid is losing to that? I think we can have a lot of domestic success because I think he is the tied or actual second best player domestically. But
and Mont brings up a good point in chat too. So when you're talking about which region these guys are from, are you talking about the region they play in or their nationality? Because two of those teams that I mentioned that were not Korean regions had Korean mid laners.
You can. I'd say both. Okay. If they're actively playing and you want to get them, that's fine. But there's also a very deep academy system in place in Korea, and you can go to their 2nd or 3rd academy team and look for someone that's 18 years old and developing, and continue to develop them.
Yeah. And also a question for the chat while we debate this. Does anyone know where Angel is from on Suning? Because I do not know his nationality either. Bamatide, what do you make of the whole language barrier thing? Do you think that's substantial? Do you think it's overblown? Do you think it's underrepresented?
I think the language barrier is is bigger in Korea because of the fact that the whole thing that we saw with Ryu, where he was older than Sunday and he was more vocal. I think that's big. I think that Sunday, we talked about this in chat earlier, he's willing to have conversations in English, but he would be able to express his opinions a lot more if he was talking to someone in Korean. So I feel like there definitely is a language barrier. I feel like this will be proven, this split with Reapered coming in and being able to speak Korean. So I think it is a barrier, but I think it can be overcome.
So, and the cost of that barrier is not enough to dissuade you from saying someone who's fluent in English can step in and be the mid?
Well, you've brought in Reapered and solved that problem in a way.
Well, you can't solve it in in-game comms, right? Like,
no, not in-game comms. But...
And I think that's where, like with Someday, for instance, out of game, he's probably fine when it comes to communicating and understanding, but in-game comms is probably when it's at its most pressing. I mean, maybe Papa can tell me if I'm wrong on that, but I would assume that that's where the communication difference is at its greatest. You know,
I believe out-of-game comms are important.
Sure.
Where Someday will have to take a lot of time to explain something, or just choose not to explain it, and maybe he can talk to a coach afterwards and try to get it, put into place later. But in like an actual coaching, I don't feel like he's as likely to speak up. I'm not sure, but that would just be one of my guesses.
Yeah.
And that he does a one-on-one later. And if he was doing that in his own language, it would be better.
Yeah. Well, so here's what I'll say. I mean, I agree. Like, I think, so when we first started like watching LCS, I think I underestimated the language barrier because I was like, that's no big deal, right? I think if you look at what's happened specifically with Someday and the junglers, I think there's probably cause to believe that some of that is communication related. When you have a monster of a top laner, and sometimes you have really good jungler talent around them too, and they're not really on the same page like in the game. Probably evidence of that. So I think over time the language barrier has probably become more of an issue than I originally anticipated it would be. The other thing is EU mids, man. As much as I hate EU, and I do hate EU, I feel like that is like the one like proven thing from them that I think is good is like EU mid laners tend to just have really good reputations. Like I think they're developed well there for whatever reason. Do you think that one of the things that I think you said, but could correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said this, and someone else said it earlier in the show tonight too, Abbe being, third or fourth best mid in LEC by people's estimation. Do you think him coming to NA, like, is that a 1-to-1 kind of thing? You think he still ends up third to fourth, or do you think he is better in NA relatively?
I put him at second in NA.
Okay. So we're in agreement
Possibly
there.
tied, but
yeah. So we're in
second
agreement
or
there.
tied.
So it's not, so it's not to say you don't think he's a good pickup. You just think like ultimately, if we want to win, we need an LCK mid.
Yeah, if you put him on a list of every region's mid laners, I mean, he's not going to be top 10 by any means. He's not going to be possibly top 15. It'd be like 20th in every region combined. Because I think that there's 4 in EU, 4 in LPL at least, 6 or 7 in Korea. He falls down the list when you start adding more regions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think about the power
fair.
rankings they did for this last Worlds, which I can't even remember. 2019, we skipped Worlds. No, we did Worlds.
What?
We did Worlds.
I was like, what?
I couldn't remember if we had
and Suning were last year.
Yeah. COVID. But there was like, I don't know if there were any NA players on the top 20. Maybe there's one last year. So yeah, I mean, look, that is a true statement that he probably isn't, and it is a problem for the entire region, right? Like, yeah. That is just a gap that we currently have and don't have line of sight to closing. So can I ask really quick? I'm sorry, Jordan, to jump in again, but can I ask really quick? So your frame of reference is winning Worlds.
It's success in Worlds. I think
What's success in Worlds?
I just describe that as getting out of groups and either taking games off of teams you shouldn't or making actual finals.
Okay. So I would say I'm not sure what our chances are to make finals. I'm not fully convinced we get out of groups, but I think it's in the realm of possibility. And to me, that would be success in and of itself. So I don't expect our roster to be able to win Worlds. I just don't. What I've said often is I want a domestic title. I think would be more meaningful for us. And I think we can compete for that. And then I think we can have a shot at getting out of groups too. So to me, it's like he checks that box enough that I'm good with that, and I'm not totally convinced in the dropping an LCK mid laner in is going to work. I mean, we dropped Bang into the mix and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, none of those pieces were also retained except Sunday. So maybe the pieces around him were not great.
What about Crown?
To put on our team?
No, I'm just saying, like, he came into LCS and he was out within like what, a year?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the one piece I wanted to pick up on is, I mean, this entire thing is kind of founded on the idea that we didn't look at Korea, right? Like
Yeah, we struggled to go into the region in a recruiting aspect, and LS said that we should have hired someone to do it in his take, I believe.
Did we confirm that? Like, did we try to get an LCK mid laner and it didn't work? Like, do we know that?
Well, Well, I believe we did that in the off season, and I don't believe we did that in the split. But I mean, none of that's really released. It's all rumors and speculation.
Right, which is my point. It's like we can't definitively say that unless
But he was
somebody
under the
tells us.
impression and more of an insider than anyone else.
Yeah,
that we didn't
and that's
go
fair.
with, so.
That's fair. I'm not doubting his credibility, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, part of me thinks we have Papa who has ties to Korea, right? Like whether or not he has
yeah.
ties to like the individual org level. We did get Bang in the past, so we had connections in some regard there. So there are enough things to let like we've done this before, and the outcome of it is kind of a separate thing that obviously didn't work out well, but like we were able to make that connection and call people and arrange for a deal to be struck. So I don't know. I guess not to kind of debate what is unconfirmable from our positions, but I kind of think that we likely did pursue it. Like I can't imagine that was just a complete blind spot for us. I have to expect that we did some degree of scouting, and if we felt like there was a really good option there, that we probably pursued it. Like I can't imagine that we didn't have a way, like that we saw somebody and said, man, that would be great to have if only we could initiate that, conversation. Because it seems like we've done that in the past.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of tough because we'll probably never truly know the answer to that question, but at least there's somewhat of a valid argument being made here. Because it's Bamatide, he always makes good arguments. Jordan, let's rate him. Is it my turn to go first or yours? It's yours, right? No, it's my turn to go first. It's my turn to go first.
Yeah, you're right.
So Bama, I still I still just believe in the EU mid for NA situation. Like, when we were talking about before all this happened, what's the dream situation for us? I wanted to recruit an EU mid specifically. I think that not only the play style, but the communication thing in a very important role just ends up being super important. I think it's easier for them to gel. And I think EU provides good, strong mids. So, I'm gonna do another respectfully disagree, but I think your case is well argued. So I'm gonna give you 78.
Oh my God, college.
Jordan, where you land?
Yeah, I think I feel like there are just pieces out there that I don't think this, like, I think Crown is actually a really interesting one, that it, like, he was a world champion and it didn't work. And we've seen Bang. So I'm going to go 75.
Okay. What was mine? 78? So we land at 77. Bamatide, thank you for coming on here and getting a 77. Hey, appreciate you calling in. Thanks for the take. Everybody, I saw some disagreement with him in the Twitch chat. Go talk about it in our Discord. Everybody, respectfully in Discord, continue the conversation there. Respectfully, might I reiterate. All right, so that brings us to the scoreboard for tonight. So give me a second. I will do this here and pray that OBS works properly. Let's reveal the scoreboard from tonight for Keep It 100. We have Jarrett with the 76, Math Geek 75, Mont 41. Sorry, bud. Joelito, a very disrespectful from Jordan 99. Nox with a 90. Bamatide with a 77. That means Joelito has emerged as the champion for tonight. Congratulations to him and his. Let's show it one more time.
Yeah, let's put it up, Cole. And look
for this.
Get the live studio audience, Cole. Ask them what they think.
It's clear.
That's what I thought.
Congratulations to Joelito, who is our most closest to 100er from tonight. And who knows, maybe someday Jordan will repent and retroactively bump you up in the scores, you know.
Yeah, I'll come back like 30 years from now and apologize for this atrocity.
Jordan, we have a bonus take really quick. Bonus take from Zenithu, who says pears are an F tier fruit, and that's an indisputable fact. I rate your take a fat 0. 0 to you, Zenithu, for that. Oh my goodness, what a horrible poop take. I'm glad you didn't pull that on the show, Jordan.
I'm giving him 100. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. That's a 0.
Knowing you.
I disagree with that. I don't think they are.
Yeah, that's horrible. Pears are not an F tier fruit. Okay, everybody, thanks for being here tonight. Like Jordan said, this is always a lot of fun. And man, I'm just still feeling really good about the offseason. I guess unlike Bama, who's a little bit sad about the mid, but I'm hyped. Lots of good things to look forward to. Speaking of things to look forward to, Rec League coming up this Thursday.
Ooh.
And I was talking to the Discord earlier today. I mean, I watched the LPL finals, and if you haven't watched those, you should watch the finals from LPL. It is just like a Rec League night. I mean, the level play maybe a little bit higher, but the craziness of the fights, the unbelievable continued fighting, it's straight out of LPL. It's so good. Upsurge, thank you for the raid right at the end of the show, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
But we are very grateful because Upsurge, we love you.
Yes.
We did, this was Keep It 100, our call-in show, where we rated user takes, listener takes, and Joelito takes. Let's just show the good people of Upsurge the graph one more time. This is all you need to know from tonight. All right. This is the story of 100 Thieves according to Joelito, the winner of tonight's Keep It 100. So yeah, Rec League this Thursday. Follow us on Twitter and we will announce there the sign up forms for that. Here's our Twitter and Discord chat. And Thursday night, 9 p.m. we will be playing games. Eventually the COD stream's going to happen, I promise. And then we'll talk about podcasts for the following week later this week.
If any of the Upsurge homies want to play in the quality of match you just observed on Upsurge, sign up for Rec League this week. You could play in a casted 5v5 best of 3 or 3-game series. It would be fun.
All ELOs welcome. All MMRs welcome.
All ELOs welcome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Hunter T. Jackson, thank you for the sub. Of course, we love you. That's 23 months for him, by the way. He's almost at 2 fat years. Congratulations. So you guys want to raid Stunt? It looks like Stunt's on. So we will do that. We'll fire up the raid. And in the meantime, we will say we love you and we miss you already.
Take care.